Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video. We're going to be doing a review on this Xensation Collectible Zealot Sorcerer. Translation, Doctor Strange Kaecilius figure, essentially. So this is obviously an unlicensed figure, and therefore they do have to call it a Zealot Sorcerer. So, you know, that's basically that. The box design I do think is quite neat. I like the orange effect of it. This does seem to be the same type of design of all of their boxes. The only difference is they have like a symbol that kind of represents Kaecilius. That symbol is kind of odd. It's not the symbol that he makes in the church with just kind of the red magic in the air. I think that would have been kind of a cooler symbol to put on this thing, but still it's very nice, and as you can see, it looks good. The box is relatively thin. On the back of it, you do have some images of the actual figure, and on the bottom, as you can see, there's a little like coming soon section, which shows you the ancient one, which is very cool. I could, you know, definitely be interested in seeing that. And then Rachel. Why would they be making a Rachel figure? I really don't understand that. Like, if they really had to do a third Doctor Strange figure, why not do like another Zealot, you know, one of his followers, like the guy that Doctor Strange fights in the astral plane, or the blonde woman Zealot. She was in the two major fights between the Zealots and Doctor Strange. Or more logically, Mordo. I mean, why would they do Rachel? I really don't get it. So who knows? You know, they might just kind of be testing out the water there. I doubt they'll actually do Rachel. There's just no reason for it. But anyway, this is my first time buying a figure from this company. I really just wanted it because Kaecilius in general. I was nervous about the fact that I haven't purchased from this company, so obviously I didn't know quite what to expect as far as quality is concerned. But now that I have him, I fully know, so let's go over the figure. So here's Kaecilius out of package, but before we go into the figure, let's go over his accessories. So you do seem to get a quite wide range of hands here. I know with their like Feora figure that they did, it really only came with like 2 spare hands. So in this one you get quite a few spare hands, I must say. Not a perfect versions of the hands, I must say, but you do get a pair of fists, pair of relaxed palms, a pair of hands that I'm just unsure about. It's like slightly different position relaxed palm, and then slightly grasping relaxed palm, you know, very strange. 2 hands that are kind of meant for holding or for doing the sling ring thing where he's, you know, opening a portal. I love the hand that is actually comes with the sling ring attached to it. This is something that's actually better than the Hot Toys Doctor Strange. The sling rings that come with Doctor Strange, you really can't get on any of his hands. They're really not meant to actually be displayed on his hands, which is crazy. So having one actually sculpted onto his hands is so much better, and definitely the way to go. And then 2 hands that are specifically meant for holding his weapons. He's lacking any sort of hands that are doing like magical effects, which is definitely unfortunate. I mean, you can kind of really use the relaxed palms, but that just doesn't look quite right. One thing that he does in the movie a lot is he kind of cuffs his hand like this, and then he like attaches them, and he does this multiple times for multiple different things. So I would have loved to see him come with those, and just having him displayed with his hands like attached like that would be really cool. So those are hands that I definitely would have liked to see quite a bit. It's very unfortunate that he doesn't come with those, and doesn't come with just magical effect hands in general. However, you do get a nice range of hands, I guess, but lacking some of those specifically Doctor Strange Sorcerer type of hands. So as far as weapons are concerned, he does come with the 2 daggers. The hands are not attached to these daggers, I just have them on because I display them with these. But these are very nice. As you can see, they do have excellent movement to them. I like how aggressively they turn. It just looks excellent. And they look like they come at a nice point. This little back section can be taken off, so it's easier to put it through his hand and everything, and it does look excellent. And to my surprise, these are actually die cast. I wasn't expecting that when I got them out of package. I thought that they'd be plastic, and then when I was like, whoa, these are pretty heavy. So very happy about that. That's something that's quite cool, and you know, something that like Hot Toys really wouldn't do. So I do like that quite a bit. As far as his weapons are concerned, though, he is lacking in my opinion. What he uses for the majority of the fights in the film is like a translucent, almost like a ghost dagger, I'm going to call it, and also like a ghost kind of spear. Like he's got 2 different sized ones that he uses throughout the film. So it'd be really cool if he came with like a spear that was just translucent, or maybe had like a white kind of a cloudy effect to it. You know, just I feel like they could have done it. Maybe it was a little too hard for him. I don't know, but I feel like they could have definitely achieved that. And that's the accessories that he uses a lot more in this movie. These daggers, he actually actually only uses in the first scene. He cuts off the librarian's head with them, and then when he's about to like fight the Ancient One in that same type of scene, he takes them out, but he never ends up using them. He never actually fights the Ancient One in that scene. So these accessories, albeit they look cool, they're really not used in the movie, and they certainly don't represent Kaecilius, in my opinion. So I do like these, but would have definitely liked to see some different ones and some more weapons. So here he is with the accessories. As you can see, these look excellent on him. He holds them extremely well and tight, and even though they're die-cast, they don't feel like they're weighing the hands down at all, anything like that. And because they're die-cast, they really have a die-cast look to them. They've looked like they've got some like wear and tear on them a bit, and then they've just got an amazing sheen and shine. As you can see, as you're rotating them, they're really catching the light. They do look excellent, and they're fantastic accessories. Alright, so going over the actual figure here, the face sculpt I think is actually really quite strong, impressively strong for this third-party company and for the price. I think this is a really nice head sculpt. There's some angles where it doesn't look like perfect, like dead on. It still looks really good though, but there is a lot, there is some positions where you can see a bit off, but there's never any position where he just looks bad. That's never the case, which is really great and really important. From every position, even if he looks slightly off, you can still totally tell who he is, and not only because of his eyes, but because you can see the Mads Mikkelsen likeness there. I think particularly from a slight angle like that, and especially from like a full angle, that really looks like him. Especially like as soon as you can start to see the ponytail section, it's a really good head sculpt at that angle, I think. So I'm actually really happy with this head sculpt. I do think that it really represents Mads Mikkelsen and in his likeness as Kaecilius. I think that if Hot Toys did it, it would be slightly better. However, I don't know how much better it would be, to be quite honest. The only big difference that I see between this one and like a Hot Toys head sculpt is the eyes. The eyes have more of a dead look to them. And you know, obviously his eyes should be very much squinted because that's just Mads Mikkelsen's kind of look. But the eyes themselves, they're a little less glossy. They have a little less life than Hot Toys' ones. For some reason, Hot Toys can really nail the eyes. They're really like the only company that can do that, which is impressive. The hair looks excellent. I really do love the sculpting in the hair. Love the silver wash to it. I think it looks awesome. So overall, I think this head sculpt is really quite spot on for this company and for this price tag. You know, obviously, if Hot Toys did it, would be a bit better, but it wouldn't be that much better. I think this is a great head sculpt, and really, it very much impresses me that they can do this, because it's pretty solid. Like, I am perfectly fine displaying this with my Doctor Strange figure, even though, you know, Doctor Strange head sculpt is like perfect. This one is really just great as well, and it really fits in well with him. Alright, on to the body of the figure. As you can see, really do like the costume design itself. I think this is quite nice. This is another thing that I was worried about, the tailoring. I do have some issues with it, but for the most part it is really good. Just do like the gray design and the orange kind of oversuit of it. I think that looks very nice. And I really like the metallic wrappings on the arms. I think that looks very nice. It could definitely be like overly bright and orange, but they went with more of like a dark copper metallic, which I think looks really cool. And there's a lot going on there, especially in that belt section. Lots of different loops and straps and pieces of clothing and things like that, which looks very cool. And then the rope section itself is quite neat. I wish that the rope was maybe a little bit more posable, but it's a small thing. It doesn't stick out very far at all or anything like that, but it is still there. My biggest issue is down here. There's too much of the pants showing. This should be longer and bigger. This should definitely get down to at least the knee. This is something I noticed, and then I looked it up online and realized that I was right. It's not even like something that, you know, I was really like comparing the costume and found that was an issue. I noticed that it was an issue and then just confirmed it when I looked it up. So that's something that is definitely disappointing, because it's clear that there's just like too much gray pants showing, that there needs to be more orange, and that's simply because there isn't a big enough piece of this. This probably needs to be bigger as well, so I wish that there was more of that. That's something that's super disappointing, because it's such an easy fix. Just having a little bit more cloth would have really fixed that up perfectly, so it's definitely a shame that that is the case. His boots, though, look very nice and look pretty good, as you can see. Very nice indeed. and they don't really hinder articulation. As far as articulation is concerned, he has really good articulation. He really does. What's great is that that this clothing really doesn't hinder the articulation much. The only issue is that the body itself, the elbows are just single hinge, so you can get a full 90 degrees, like 100% 90 degree bend completely. However, it doesn't, go any further than that simply because of the body that's underneath. But the head. The head has good range, can look up, down, side to side, a little hindered by his ponytail though, so the head isn't like amazing range, but it does have a decent amount of range. As far as the torso is concerned, you can bend it back this far, which is quite far actually. You can bend it forward about this far, something at least, not crazy or anything. And then the wrists themselves are hinge swivel, of course, so they have very good range as well. The thighs are quite impressive. Let's see. There we go. Look at that kick. That is a really good kick. That's much better than Hot Toys usually is. And then as far as out to the side, nice range out to the side as well. Very impressive. And then the knees go like completely, double joints. It folds up on itself completely. No issues there. And as far as the ankle, it does have a little bit of range there. It's mainly on a boot there though, so there isn't a ton of range, but there is a decent amount of range. And then as far as the strength of the joints in the body, the joints feel all very stiff, like extremely stiff, which is awesome. It really feels very sturdy and very stable, which, that was another thing that I was worried about, with a company that I really haven't bought from before. I could totally see the body being a little bit weak, but that is certainly not the case with this figure. It feels stronger than Hot Toys, to be quite honest. I mean, Hot Toys bodies feel more delicate than this. This feels like a really strong body. Now, I did watch a review of the Feora from this company, where the person did say that the body, that some of the joints felt a little bit loose. So, I'm not saying that maybe this company is perfect with all their figures, but at least for my copy of Kaecilius, the Zealot Sorcerer, the joints are like really strong. They feel very stiff, and they don't feel like they've got any give to them, which is awesome. I mean, because I display him now without a base, just simply because of how I display him with Doctor Strange, which I'll show you if I haven't already. But he feels completely stable. Like, I have no issues displaying him like that, because he just feels completely stable. So yeah, so let's show you that now. Let's show you how I display him and how he looks with the Hot Toys Doctor Strange. Alright, so here we have Kaecilius displayed with the Hot Toys Doctor Strange, and as you can see, I really do like the setup. It's the backdrop and base for Doctor Strange fits perfectly in a detailed square, and this just works great. I really do like the design on Doctor Strange's base, so to be able to display it front and center, as well as to have the backdrop be displayed is really nice, especially since if you just have like Doctor Strange on this base, he very much just covers up that window, and that window is so cool and so unique. So I definitely wanted that window to be front and center. This way you can get the window in there, and it's perfect because the two of them actually fought in this room with that window as the backdrop, so it works out pretty perfectly. I think this is just a great way to display them. And one of my big worries about getting this Kaecilius figure was that because it wasn't a Hot Toys figure, I would have reservations about displaying it with Hot Toys figures. But quality-wise, it really does look like Hot Toys. I mean, displaying these two together, it doesn't look like there's a drop on quality on one of them, so I'm perfectly fine displaying them together, and that is really nice, and that was something that was really my biggest fear about buying this figure, so I'm extremely happy with this. Really do love the way these two look. I would love to get like a few more of these setups where I have like the main hero and the main villain with like a backdrop. That would be super cool. But unfortunately, this is the only one that would really work because most of the Marvel characters don't come with backdrops, and they haven't done a lot of the villains. But yeah, overall, really happy with this display, and this is exactly how I want to display them. Alright, and then here's a more clear image of Kaecilius with Doctor Strange. As you can see, they do look very cool together. I do think that quality-wise, they look like they fit in with each other. You definitely don't see a big drop in quality at all, which is quite impressive, and it's another reason, again, like I said, why I'm so comfortable displaying this figure with my Hot Toys, so I'm very happy about that. As far as the height's concerned, Doctor Strange is definitely taller than Kaecilius, which is unfortunate, considering that's not the case in the movie. In the movie, it's kind of hard to get an idea of exactly how tall the two of them are together. However, if you just look it up based on the actor's height themselves, they're the exact same height. They're both 6 feet. So the fact that Kaecilius, Mads Mikkelsen, is so much shorter here is definitely disappointing. It's not like a ton though. It's not like weird when you're looking at them together. They look fine together, but there is definitely a height difference there that shouldn't be there. But to some degree, that's almost because of the massive cape and things like that. Like your eye kind of goes to the more bulkiness character, and therefore it makes him look bigger than he actually is. So it is definitely disappointing that they're not the exact same height, but it is definitely very close, so it's not too bad. So overall, I very much like this figure. I'm really happy to actually have Kaecilius in my collection. I'm a big fan of villains, especially MCU villains. I just, I enjoy them, and Hot Toys has done quite a few of them, so I do, and I have them all, so I have a nice size collection of them. However, as of recently, Hot Toys has really fallen off the wagon as far as villains are concerned. They're not doing them anymore. Usually they do them and show them, they just never actually release them. I'm still waiting for Yellow Jacket and Crossbones and Kaecilius, of course, they didn't do. So just within the past year or two, they've basically stopped doing them. Who knows if we're actually going to get Hela. So to see a company actually fill in one of those gaps, at least, with Kaecilius is great. I do think it's odd that they would do him. I think that if they did Yellow Jacket and Crossbones, that they would both sell much more, as well as I think it would be a lot easier to do at least Crossbones. You wouldn't have to do a face sculpt, essentially. So it seems odd that they would choose to do Kaecilius. Comparatively to all the other ones, because I really don't see many people like clamoring for a Kaecilius figure. However, I do see people that really want a Crossbones figure, so I think it's odd that they chose him, but I'm certainly happy, and I think that the figure itself is executed very well. There's some slight issues as far as the fact that he doesn't come with enough weapons, in my opinion. He doesn't come with a base, and and his clothing isn't long enough as it should be, at least in the orange section. However, other than that, I find this to be a great figure. I think that it's super stable, it has great articulation, the sculpt is good, the tailoring is good, and the accessories and hands that you do get are quite nice, although I do think that you're lacking slightly. So I love this figure. I would certainly buy from this company again, totally, and again, I'm really hoping that they do some more MCU villains. I'd love to fill in the gaps of my collection with this company. I paid $140 for this figure from Toy Anxiety, which, a Hot Toys figure would be about $220. So got this guy for about $80 off of a Hot Toys figure, and quality-wise, this does not feel $80 cheaper than a Hot Toys. I will say it's not quite Hot Toys in some regards. So I maybe would say that it's maybe $40 less than a Hot Toys figure, but it really doesn't feel like $80 cheaper than a Hot Toys figure. So in that regard, I'm extremely happy with this figure. I hope that they do more, and I would totally recommend that you do purchase this figure if you are a fan of Kaecilius, as well as, I'd like to see this figure sell well. That way, maybe they'd see that there is a market for MCU villains, and that they might start to do some of the other ones, considering since they really don't license the figures, it's not like, oh, the license expired, so they can't go back and make Yellow Jacket or something. They certainly could, because they don't license the figures, so they could totally do it, and I certainly would hope that they would do it, and Crossbones too would be amazing. So so there you go. Really do like this figure. Would highly recommend it to any fan of Doctor Strange, and especially fans of Kaecilius. And there you go. That's my video review of the Xensation Zealot Sorcerer, aka Doctor Strange Kaecilius. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the figure.